Joining us on the line right now is Jonna Spilbor, attorney and legal analyst. You see her all the time on television. She has handled hundreds of cases as a criminal defense attorney as well. Jonna, it's good to have you with you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
All right, look, I want to start with this Ray Rice matter and talk about how it was handled as a criminal matter. In March, a grand jury indicted Rice on a third-degree aggravated assault, and he pleaded not guilty, avoided a trial, and was given a light tap on the wrist in the judicial system there in New Jersey. And my question is, based on, obviously, you would imagine that the DA got to see the video that has so shocked everyone over the last few days.
Right.
It seems like he got way light a sentence given all that took place inside that elevator.
See, I have to disagree with that, Brian. He actually, the light tap on the wrist, as you put it, is typical of somebody in similar shoes who has no criminal record. The only reason why Ray Rice is in the program that he's in is because he qualified as a first-time offender under New Jersey law. So here we have an example of a celebrity, if you will, a star athlete, being treated just like anybody who isn't would have been treated in the same shoes. We think it seems light because now we've seen this horrible, horrible video, but every other person who has performed the same type of crime with no criminal record would be subject to the same program that Ray Rice.
Well, maybe that's true, and maybe the problem is that there shouldn't be a program like that for somebody who reaches out and strikes a woman, punches a woman out in an elevator. Maybe we shouldn't allow the first-time offender to go off with sort of a light tap on the wrist by the judicial system. Maybe we ought to hammer these people. Am I right or am I wrong here?
Well, you're right and wrong, Brian, because if we took away similar programs, we would need to build more jails because unfortunately, human beings are human beings. And it shouldn't just be that we shouldn't allow men who punch women. We shouldn't allow women who punch men. People shouldn't be punching each other's lights out. I agree with that. I absolutely do. But the reality is, it happens, and we need a way to deal with these people. And hopefully, and remember, the program is designed to prevent this from ever happening again. It's a year-long program. Counseling, you have to do other things, anger management, so that you learn how to behave like a civilized human being. I get that. And if we took away that program, we took away that opportunity, we'd have to build a whole lot more prisons.
So, Jonna, let me ask you this, because I think we can argue this a couple of different ways. If this were a bar fight and he punched some guy in a bar, would he have gotten a similar kind of treatment from the judicial process?
Under New Jersey law, if he were eligible for that program, yes. Now, there are exceptions to the program. Not every person can get in the program, and certain violent crimes, and I don't think any of us can argue that this was not a violent crime, because it absolutely was. Certain violent crimes would not allow you enrollment in the program.
Wait, now this program, I just assumed this program had specific relationship to domestic violence. So this program is a violence program, not domestic violence?
It's essentially a first-time offender program, but not every first-time offender qualifies. I think either currently or they're trying to expand it so that if you commit certain acts of violence, i.e. against people, against animals, certain acts will not allow you to participate in the program.
Let me ask you another potentially volatile question. Mm-hmm. If we had a video of a white cop punching a black citizen in the course of an arrest and knocking him out or knocking her out, do we think that white cop would be treated with the same kind of program, or do you think maybe the judicial process would be harsher?
Well, one thing is for sure, we'd have Al Sharpton, complaining if that white cop were not punished accordingly, and we've seen that. We've got that going on right now.
Well, of course, and I think that's sort of my point. It seems to me that this is to suggest that we would have to build more prisons to accommodate all of the people who beat up their wives and knock them unconscious. Maybe if the people who are about to hit their wife and knock her unconscious knew that they would be going to jail for 5 to 10 years because we built those prisons, maybe he won't hit her. It's just a hunch.
I would like to believe that as well, but I don't see that happening. And hey, listen. This was a horrible, horrible crime, and what bothers me as much is that his wife married him after he knocked her out. That bothers me just as much.
All right, so let's talk about the NFL's reaction to this. Here's Roger Goodell talking about the matter.
Well, we certainly didn't know what was on the tape, but we have been very open and honest, and I have also from 2 weeks ago when I acknowledged that we didn't get this right. That's my responsibility, and I'm accountable for that.
Now, the NFL, they said they hadn't seen the video. They had asked for it. It was never made available to them. That nobody at the NFL actually saw the video inside the elevator, but they certainly saw that the woman was knocked unconscious because they saw the other video. We all saw it. Do you have any concerns about the NFL in this matter?
Well, the NFL, in my opinion, right now is simply trying to save face. What more did the NFL need to know other than that Ray Rice punched the lights out, knocked unconscious another person? They didn't need to know that it was one blow to the face, how exactly. They knew that. Yeah. They knew that going in. And now that the world has seen what actually happened inside the elevator, now the NFL is embarrassed. But I don't think their hands are tied because they already punished this man for the act that they knew occurred.
Yeah. Jonna, let me ask you that. I want to just swing back to this grand jury. Did you say that, and I don't know if you know this or you're just assuming so, did the grand jury have a chance to see the video that we've all seen?
Well, I don't know. Anything that happens in a grand jury is secret. However, I can tell you, when a prosecutor presents its case to the grand jury, and it's always one-sided, the defense really doesn't have much to do with the grand jury.
Yes.
They typically provide all the evidence that it has before it. So I would venture a guess that, yes, the grand jury saw the video.
And I've never sat on a grand jury, but in general, does the prosecutor recommend to the grand jury exactly what kind of charges and what kind of potential penalty, if any, might accompany those charges? The prosecutor has a lot of influence here, right?
The prosecutor is really the only one with influence, yes. And the grand jury will hear all of the evidence that the prosecutor presents, and then the grand jury will decide which charges are appropriate, which they will find a true bill on. And he was indicted on felony assault charges. Felony assault charges. The highest count of assault charges one can be indicted for, he was indicted for. But if he successfully completes this program, he will walk away with a clean slate and an opportunity to even expunge his arrest record if he successfully completes this program.
Wait, does that mean if he gets arrested again for this, his record will be clean? It'll be treated as a first offense again?
If he successfully completes, he will have no record.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Of course, we'll all have memories. We have the Internet to remind us of what happened.
Yes, forever and ever.
All right. Well, listen, Jonna, so good of you to join us this morning. We really appreciate your expertise on this matter.
Thank you. It's a very interesting and sad topic, I must admit.
It is. Thank you, Jonna.